What is going on? My name is Isaiah. I'm 24 years old, and I just want to share how I've learned how to experience happiness and relieve anxiety. There's two ways that I do it. The first I want to explain is faith. I've gotten to faith, and I can only explain my life story in a movie format or by believing that there's a higher power. So let me explain my faith, how I've built it, and how I've gotten to this point so far in life. By the time I was 16 years old, I was fighting 6 felonies and 3 misdemeanors. I'm from one of the top 10 most dangerous cities in the U.S., Stockton, California. I grew up downtown Stockton. Early years of my life was literally a trap house. Like it was, I seen things coming in and out the house. I seen a bunch of people coming in and out the house. The only men in my life were examples of exactly what I should not be like. But I was definitely attracted towards those kind of guys because they're doing all these things, they're bringing in all this money, they're moving all this, you know what I mean? They're doing all this shit that is very attractive to a young boy that wants power, respect, money, all these things. So it influenced me, and I didn't have a father. I didn't have my father in my life. This isn't a sob story. This is just the reality of how I grew up, explaining how it's led me to faith. So, in the moment, you could see how this wouldn't be a good life or the best environment for a young boy, a young child overall. But 16 years old, I had led myself down a path to catching up with 6 felonies, 3 misdemeanors. I had broken into someone's house, committed burglary. I think it was first degree, second degree. I forget how it's labeled and what it means differently, but broke into somebody's house. I was robbing, stealing. I was doing all kind of things, and it had led up progressively up until this point. This was not just some random I'm going to break into someone's house. I always say that anything that doesn't have an immediate consequence builds confidence, and that's what happened with me. I started off stealing small things, breaking into cars, doing this. Boom, got up all the way to breaking into someone's house, getting caught my first 3 felonies. And when you get arrested, they tell you the maximum confinement for each charge. I was off those first 3 felonies. The max was 13 and a half years, and likely I wouldn't have gotten 13 and a half years, but I very easily could have gotten 6 years. I could have gotten 8 years, 5 years, 4.5 years, very easily because I broke into someone's house. And if you ask me now, what's the punishment of someone breaking into somebody's house? Someone breaking into my house, maybe it shouldn't be up to my judgment because I'd be a little unbiased towards my property. But anyways, 3 months later, I caught 3 more felonies. Sort of related, sort of similar, but regardless, I was already on probation, and if you even get caught jaywalking, that's a violation of probation. Off of that alone, the first 3 felonies, I should have been locked up for a good amount of time. After getting put on probation, a slap on the wrist is pretty much what they were letting me walk away with. I was put on a program called DEJ, Deferred Entry of Judgment, and it was allowing me to be put on probation, and if I complete the probation during this time, I don't have any hiccups, then they would drop all my charges from the burglary. That didn't go as planned, of course, because 3 months later, I caught 3 more felonies. I should have almost instantly gone to jail, sat down, did some time, serious time, faced all the consequences for all the felonies I committed. The next 3 felonies were 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Long, crazy story, but that's what life was looking like. 16 years old. I missed my first few days of, I think it was junior year because I was in jail, literally. And then I got out. I was on house arrest. I was walking around on an ankle monitor, going to school. Blessed even in that scenario. Fast forward all the way to today. Fast forward back. I didn't finish. 16 years old, even at this time, I still had a pretty positive outlook on life. And I realized early on that I was being guided throughout life. Even though the things I was doing, I wasn't following the guidance that I was being given, I was still being guided. I definitely believe that the cartoons explain it very well. You have the devil and you have God on your shoulder, and they're both whispering to you, telling you two different things. And the one that the devil's going to tell you is going to be much more enticing and much more interesting and dopamine filling in the moment. The plan that God has for you is, far greater. Far greater. Fast forward, I'm 24 years old. I have joined the military like I always wanted. I got turned down and I thought it was over. And then a year later, I went and tried to join again. By the grace of God, I got in. I've been to Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years. I went to Turkey for a year. I now moved to Hawaii, bought my first home, a condo in a high-rise building in Hawaii. These are just massive blessings that I couldn't have played out on my own. There's no way that this just happened just because of what I did and the decisions I made solely alone. This is all orchestrated by God. You don't go from 6 felonies, 3 misdemeanors, probation, violated probation with 3 more felonies, then to traveling to Japan, Turkey, Hawaii, owning a home, and in between that whole process, going from never being on a plane to traveling to 20 countries. 21 countries, actually. This can only be orchestrated through God. My happiness, aside from the things that I've experienced, of course, that God has given me, has truly been my faith and the connection that I have with God. I have a mentor, and he told me, he said, even if you grew faith, and your parents were taking you to church, and they had you around and everything like that, everything was all good and going the way that, it should be, it gets to a point where you need to develop a personal relationship with God. And that's when I pulled out my Bible and I started to read the Bible. I had this idea, which I even believe was put into my mind by God, that by the time you turn 18, you need to take responsibility for everything that you weren't taught, because your parents can only teach you so much. And after that, you can continue to sit and blame your parents for everything you don't know. I don't know taxes. I don't know how to cook. I don't have faith or religion. We didn't go to church when I was growing up. You can do that, but it's not going to lead to any results. And excuses only make you comfortable in a position that you don't want to be in. All these things that I talk about and speak about, I truly believe were put into my mind by God. Everything that I've learned was a message from God. Everything that I share is me speaking to others through God. I don't take responsibility for the way that my life has gone. Sure, we have free will, but God is orchestrating everything. And if you listen to Him, you will be led down the path that He has planned out for you. That is how I experience happiness. I definitely believe that the cartoons explain it very accurately in terms of having the devil on your shoulder and God, like I said. But if you can, even in the small moments, I teach fitness, mindset, nutrition, how to have a higher level of confidence and appreciation for life. I break it down to the very small things. If you're trying to get in better shape and you have a cookie and an apple in front of you, that is a very simple decision that seems harmless and doesn't have a drastic effect on you. But if you can consistently choose the apple during the times of wanting to be better, it will lead out to 150 days of eating an apple versus 150 days of eating a cookie, which will lead to all these calories, all this weight gain, all this mental slowness and itis that you've built up over time. It has a drastic effect. I like to say, and I won't say it in the video, but word for word, a little bit of poop everywhere makes a big mess. So it's like, it seems like it's just one little thing, one little thing, one little thing, one little thing. A little bit of trash all over the place makes a giant mess. You know what I mean? Like, so understand that the small decisions you make each day drastically plays out to the average way that you experience life. And God is guiding you through every single thing. In the back of your mind, He's going to tell you choose the cookie or choose the apple, but you have your own free will to choose the cookie. And if you choose the cookie, you decided to indulge in dopamine now versus a fulfilling life later. What I used to do and what a lot of people do is give up what they want most for what they want now. Apple versus cookie. But another thing, that's how I experience happiness. If you have trouble experiencing happiness in your own life, I'm telling you, it is definitely through God, the connection that you make with Him. It's a one-on-one. It's a confusing but very exciting and fulfilling path that you'll start to walk. I'm new in it myself. That's why I have to share it. Secondly, how to deal with anxiety. You deal with anxiety. Anxiety usually comes from not taking action towards something, feeling like you're not making progress. Like you have anxiety towards a test, or you have anxiety towards a job, or you have anxiety towards this and that. If you can immediately take action towards the thing that you're having anxiety towards, anxiety goes away, because you know that you've done what you could to relieve it. If I have anxiety about a test and I sit down and I stop right now and I study for the test for 15, 20 minutes, the anxiety goes down. It doesn't go up, it goes down, because you know that you're preparing and getting closer towards the goal that you have in mind. If you have anxiety about anything, just immediately take action towards that thing to make yourself a little bit better, a little bit more prepared, a little bit more familiar, and I promise you, you will start to relieve the anxiety. Not everything is going to immediately go down 100%. You're not going to go into know that you have a boxing fight and then all the anxiety goes away immediately just because you went and started shadow boxing, but it's going to go down a little bit because you're in the moment preparing for that thing. At the end of the day, if you struggle with any of these things or you want to further the conversation that we've been having right now, hit me up on Instagram, Isaiah Dillon, comment on the video, I'll hit you back. I love talking about all these things. I teach people how to have a higher level of confidence and appreciation for life through two main things: your daily habits and your mindset. And of course, none of this would even happen or be true or be realistic without God. So I encourage you, bring God in your life. He's helped me make changes these past 3 or 4 months that have drastically changed my life. At the end of the day, stay locked in. The future looks bright.